on the website, which is womanenterprises.com, and everything is on there. In addition to that, I think we're ready to have the women join. So yeah, you can jump right in and we can chat. Hello.
Hi.
Hey ladies, how are you guys?
Hi, good evening.
Hi. Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
So everyone on the episode, if they're new, I'm going to introduce myself, but most of the people know my name is Miczjhane, and I am the CEO of Woman Enterprises. What we do at Woman Enterprises is house Black female artists. So whether it's makeup artists, stylists, graphic designers, wardrobe stylists, we house them, we train them, and teach them how to be professional, how to stay with their rates, how to market themselves, how to brand themselves, and all those good things. And within our We group, which is what we call it, we kind of build a community. So taking that a little step further, I wanted to create, sincerely a Black businesswoman, to take the community a little further and see what you guys are doing in your community. So if you guys can just loosen up, it's going to be super laxed conversation. But I want you ladies to introduce yourselves and then explain a little bit about what you do. And there's no specific order, but I want it to be like organic conversation that we're going to have today. So whoever wants to go first can jump right in.
Well, I'm Jay, only because I see myself at the top. So I just was like, let me just go. But my name is Jashikwa, but I like to just shorten it to Jay because, people just stumble over the rest of the letters.
Right.
And I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, but I'm now living in Nashville, Tennessee. I've been here for about 3 years, following my husband doing music. And I like to call myself a change agent. Most people will know them as social workers, but to me, social workers kind of put you in a very tight box, and I'm not in that box. So I like to consider myself a change agent, and then I'm kind of also a serial entrepreneur as well. So, good evening.
Surely. Thank you, Jay. Welcome.
Thank you.
A pleasure meeting you, Jay. Hi, everyone. I am Kiri, also known as Kyrie Cats. Most of my family call me Cats. I am originally from Staten Island, New York. However, I am a New Jersey girl. I'm a North Jersey girl. So shout out to New Jersey. Similar to Jay, I am a serial entrepreneur. I have multiple businesses. But however, what I'm going to be speaking tonight about is my business, K-Style Collection, and I am a independent business owner with K-Style Collection. I've been in business for a few years now, and similar to Jay, I'm a people builder. I'm an encourager. I'm an influencer. My life changed, drastically last year after being diagnosed with breast cancer, but I received my healing and my breakthrough. So.
Yes.
Thank you. So now I enjoy helping people build people and helping people build their businesses and to make an impact and to inspire the world to make a change. So that's a little bit about me, and my business too is having you look like $1,000,000 without breaking the bank.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Thank you for joining us.
Very nice. Nice to meet you, ladies. My name is Katrina Yvette Cooper. I own KYC Wax, a hair removal service here in Brooklyn, New York. I am originally from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I did not say that, but I moved to Brooklyn, New York about 13 years ago, so I'm no longer from New York.
Right.
So I own and operate, like I said, KYC Wax, which is a hair removal service by way of waxing. And unlike you ladies, I am an infant in this entrepreneurship lifestyle. I just began to start entrepreneurship in January 21 post-pandemic, or during the pandemic actually. So I have not completed my first year yet, but so far so.
Well, congratulations on that. One of my businesses I created during the pandemic as well, and it kind of worked out. A few episodes ago, I was chatting with a few of the other ladies that were on the panel, and we were talking about how so much of the pandemic, of course, was a detrimental time, but it was also a time to birth new ideas and to bring some really beautiful things to life. So it's dope that you did that, because I know a lot of other women who were in the same spot, and being under pressure in addition to not having much to do, you kind of just created something, out of that situation. So with that, I was wondering, how did y'all get started? You got to talk a little bit about it with the pandemic, but I want to know about, the other ladies. How did you guys get started, or what inspired you to start your business?
So for me, I've always kind of been in social work. That's kind of been my path very early. Like my first job, 14, I think I started working as like a youth counselor. And I've kind of always just kind of knew that I was going to kind of just be a person to help people. And so I've kind of always kind of been in that track. So I went to school for my master's, and I have my master's in social work, and I've been from a case manager to a director working with mentally ill individuals and people that are very vulnerable individuals. And so when I moved to Nashville, I kind of continued that, but on an advocacy route. So I was more so advocating for abuse and neglect for individuals that was in prisons, like any facility, nursing homes, detention centers, schools. And so I just kind of always was in a helping arena. But in regards to serial entrepreneurship, I think COVID definitely kind of like, I mean, I've always been creative. I've always had the ability to kind of just create things. But when you do social work, you're so much on the other side of that, like, because you're just giving of yourself. So you're not really sitting to take time to like be creative and, do those things. And so my regular practices with my health and wearing waist beads and stuff like that became a business, because my friends already knew these are things that I naturally did. But it was like, oh, let me do this. Let me get a pair. Let me try this. And so I had time to sit home and do it. And then it was like, girl, you've been sitting here doing nonprofit, no money stuff, girl. You better get to this bag. So, so it kind of just birthed from that. So it was just like most of us seem to have in common, we were able to just kind of just flow into that thing.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. A lot of times we create businesses to either help people, which is of course always a great mission, or to just make money. So I think the balance of having both is definitely necessary, because you never want to get so like indulged in making money that you lose your why. So like for me personally, I have a clothing brand and I sew, and the name of my clothing brand is Ming Street on Instagram. So like that is very much for profit. Like I'm sewing, I'm creating looks, I'm creating clothes. Y'all gonna pay a good coin to get the clothes. But whereas woman enterprises, like we do profit in different ways, whether it's like from the bag or the mugs we make, but it's nothing to like sustain, you know what I mean? Like it's going back into the projects or going back into whatever we want to do. So I think that between my personal clothing line and woman enterprises, it allows me to still give back, but still to refill my cup, if that makes sense.
Right. And out here, like I founded my very own nonprofit, or our nonprofit, because a nonprofit don't belong to individual. But I like moving from being in the social work field in New York is so much different compared to being in the South. Like resources are so different. Just the regular transportation is different. Like we are, if living in Brooklyn or living anywhere in New York, you have means to a lot of transportation. Here, you are almost grateful if you could come across a bus. Everything is the highway. So like homelessness and housing and mental illness look completely different when I got here after getting my master's, and I just was kind of like taken back. And then in regards to resources, I had to come to the harsh reality that I live in a red state now, where they don't really care about those individuals. They don't care if you're homeless. They don't care if you have a mental illness. They don't care if you're disabled. And so I would find myself like, at first, I was like an ignorant city girl. Like I'm driving by places like, oh, babe, we should go camp out here, because I'm seeing tents and, stuff like that. So I'm thinking this is what they do in the South. They, tent outside. I don't know. Just to realize that these are homeless people. Like these are communities of homeless people living underneath highways and living and behind, the trees where we drive by, or behind Walmart and where we shop. And it was just kind of like, heartbreaking. And I'm like, okay, no, this is not what I came here to see. And so we kind of birthed an idea of like, okay, so if the city isn't going to take care of them, or if people don't care about them, then you just got to meet them where they are. And I just started collecting things and donating things to them. Okay, they're on the street. Here's a hoodie. Here's a washcloth and a wash rag, like meeting them where they were in the park, sitting near our businesses, sitting where we walk past them. So I was like, no, this is going to be a mission where we're going to provide basic essentials to individuals that need it. And it was just that simple, and that was my way of giving back, because the state that I live in wasn't doing that. And so that was my natural being. Like, I can't just walk past this and drive past this and be like, oh, I live in a new place. Like, it's like, why are these people living like this? Like, the shelters is one, and it's very hard to get in, so it's like in New York, we have plenty of shelters and plenty of places that they can get help or get food stamps or get ID services. That stuff is not here. You can't just get a free cell phone or, food stamps or Medicaid. You have to be like deemed ill and able to do that. But then you can't go see a doctor because you don't have ID. So it's just like a revolving cycles, and so it was like, that's how Project Love Strong was birthed, out of knowing more than is exposed to people that's here. Because a lot of people are like, I didn't even think to just give them the water in the back of my seat. It's like, okay, so it's just like, just showing people that we can give outside of what the city provides. We can be, we're the people that change our communities. These homeless individuals live in our communities. They sit where we work, so I'm trying to change the perspective and raise awareness so that we can kind of help our community, so.
That's really powerful. That's a powerful realization too. I can only imagine relocating and seeing things different as well. I come from really the spiritual, I guess, background of it, how I first started my nonprofit to where I am today. I always had the purpose and the calling of helping others. And God blessed me with, many gifts, whether it be administrative operations, whether it's my sense of style and creativity, my humor. I just want to be a blessing to others. And that was that was birthed through my most recent business here with K-Style Collection. When I first started, I already had a prior business in the fashion styling. So I had a small number of clientele there, and I was building up my portfolio. And my cousin introduced me to this opportunity where she's like, it's right on brand. You love fashion. Here's the accessories part. And the best part is, you can look fabulous at a fraction of the price. So, I first jumped in thinking that, I'll just make some money for the holidays and then, I'll just see how it goes. But, I fell in love with the jewelry. I fell in love with the camaraderie, the sisterhood. And this was back in September of 2019. So fast forward to 2 years ago this month in October, my OBGYN at a routine appointment felt a lump in my breast. And fast forward to February of last year, just before COVID hit and shut down New York, I was diagnosed with stage 0 breast cancer. And as you can imagine, it hit you at like a truck. I was depressed. I had suicidal thoughts. But then I realized I had to turn to my faith. I have to be proactive in my healing, and I have to be here. And so instead of asking God, why me? How come me? Really, I needed to ask him, how can I be of service to others? How can what I go through and overcome be a blessing to others? And once I had that understanding, then I started to proclaim my healing. I started to proclaim my victory. And lo and behold, God healed me before my surgery. In June of last year. So I've been cancer free for well over a year now.
Wow.
Thank you. Yes. And I realized in this moment, in these moments leading up, that I created a manifestation process. And I wanted to also use that same manifestation process in my business that God blessed me with. So I started to build my team last year. And as of today, we have over 31 businessmen and women. I lead a phenomenal team, illustrious New Life Circle. And it's the understanding of cultivating that we are leaders from day one. We were put on this earth to to bless someone, to be of service to people, and to show love, and to shine our light and leave our mark in that. And I have that philanthropist spirit similar to Jay. I want to help others. So whether it's me helping someone feel beautiful for their wedding day, or me helping someone in their business, starting their business, scaling their business, to provide them and put them on the right path to financial freedom, I'm going to use it all. I'm going to use all the tools God has blessed me with, and I'm going to share it with others, teach them how to do it so that they can teach others as well. So I'm here to be of service to everyone,
Yes.
as best I can. And I found joy in my journey. And I'm teaching my 11-year-old son to do the same, to cascade these same virtues and these same values, to love God and love his people.
Yes. I love that. I love that. One of them. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to piggyback off of what she said about helping people. I found myself working in the industry, in the hair removal industry and waxing centers, where the focus was more so about collecting the money. It was just a money grab. It was all about numbers and how, but the thing about the hair removal process that people don't discuss as far as the business aspect is concerned is the relationship between the client and the esthetician is so intimate. And we have conversations like this about Victoria's testimony and about helping people and about philanthropy and about dreams and goals and achieving our goals with our body, with our health, with helping our families and with financial goals and things like that. So this is one of the reasons why I started KYC Wax, because I saw a necessity for that rather than just for it just being a money grab, if I can say that. Go ahead.
Yeah. And what's so dope about what you ladies are saying, and you all said it in your different right, is that God doesn't just give you one gift, right? So he gives you a foundation to house them all. And I talked to I told y'all my husband is my best friend, and this is what I be telling him every week. So I just got married, and I live in a new state. Thank you. I live in a new state, so I don't got quite that many friends yet. So I'll be talking his head off. But through our conversation, he sings and he plays the drums, and he's gonna be called to preach and all this stuff, right? But like we talk about how one thing, like drums set him up for singing, and singing is gonna set him up for whatever is next. Fashion set me up to be in an arena where people feel comfortable about me because I'm relatable, right? And creating women enterprises and networking, all this stuff is setting me up for philanthropy. But I think that what I was focusing on was like, I have all these gifts, I have all these callings. How do I put them in a box? And sometimes people don't even box us in, we box ourselves in.
Right.
And we try to confine all of our gifts and our talents to one thing when we're not called to just do one thing. So like you ladies were saying, like you may be a waxer, but it's also meant for you to have these conversations. And of course, it's not like you're a licensed therapist, but it's some form of therapy, you know? And whether you're doing makeup or consulting or giving back, it is so important to be able to be like, I'm not just Miczhhane the fashion stylist, or I'm not just Miczhhane the designer, but this is what I can do. And Jay said something that stuck with me is like, we wait for these events where we can give back when we can just do it.
That's right.
We can just do it. Like we wait for like, oh, somebody's having a soup kitchen, let's go help them. Or somebody's doing a clothing drive, let's go help them. Where we could just go outside and give them the clothes. And this is like an ongoing joke that I have with my team. But I tell them like the homeless are homeless 365. We don't have to have an event to, you know, give back. And that's what, like, whether we do it today, whether we do it tomorrow or next week, because, you know, we plan our mission events for the month. But I'm like, y'all know we could just go tomorrow and they're still going to be there.
They're still going to be there. They was there during the whole COVID.
Right.
And everyone, it was kind of like, you know, we have annual events, but it's like, you're still doing that event. It's COVID. It's like, are these people still homeless?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't change. The mission is still a mission. And who are we to choose to decide? You know what I'm saying? Because they can't choose to decide. They have to live in those elements. And that's kind of the way I like to, like, you know, phrase it, because everyone is like, oh, you know, they're homeless for a reason. You know, it's their life. They messed it up. They on drugs. They're crazy. They did something. Something caused them to be that way, you know, and we kind of should all know that that's kind of not true. You know, one thing that we always neglect to mention is life, you know, life circumstances or natural disasters. You know, out here in Tennessee, we had a tornado that tore through us like nobody's business. And people of, you know, higher esteems were without a home. And the reality was, you're considered homeless. You don't have a place to lay your head, regardless of how much money you have. You don't have anything sheltering you. And that was a harsh reality for some people, because we just think, oh, you know, I would never be that way. I would never, you know, put my whoever in this circumstance. And it's like, sometimes those circumstances is beyond us, you know, like K Style said, like, she got diagnosed with cancer. Like, what happened if it was worse? Well, she might have had to use everything she had to pay for those treatments to secure her health. And that could have potentially left her maybe without a home, maybe sharing a home or whatever. So it's like, we don't think about those circumstances because we seem to think that we're maybe, you know, too big, or like it can't happen to us. And so it's kind of like, we all are individuals, you know, and I like to see them that way. Like, they are individuals that one hoodie or that t-shirt or that, you know, meal can possibly get them to go and walk in and receive services. How can a hungry person receive services or not act crazy? If I was homeless, I'd probably be crazy too.
Surely.
I mean, we all, seriously, we're just one elbow way or one arm's length away.
I was literally about to say the same thing.
The million, or from, you know, total detriment. You know, that's one thing that I've learned over the course of this year, is that really, if we have to start focusing on what we do want, and not you know, pity people, not pity people, help use, and not just, you know, monetarily throwing money at the situation, but genuinely help. And I had someone ask me recently, you know, and I don't know them from Adam, you know, can you loan me some money? And didn't say anything. Can you loan me some money? I don't have money to loan, but let me know what you need. Possibly I may have that, or I can gift it to you. And, you know, they didn't respond. So I'm like, I guess whatever you need, you don't need it. But, you know, and most recently, I had my first breast cancer awareness charity walk with American Cancer Society on a few weeks ago on Sunday. And a lot of people, you know, because it was COVID last year, and, you know, we can't attend in person. So this was my first in-person event. And I was expecting a large turnout, you know, people that were there for me and to help me walk physically now show up. And it wasn't as large of a show up as I expected. I did raise over $1,500. However, that $1,500, that's amazing. That's amazing. But what would have stood out to me was your presence. That's something that I can relive, what you did for me, sacrificing, coming from near, from far. And I did have people come from near and far, traveling. My mother, my cousin from Delaware, she traveled all the way up, and it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. So she had the babies in the car 5 o'clock, and she was on the way. She came. And my good friend Janae, you know, and really, you can throw money at the problem, but it's what you do in these moments. Jesus Christ was in the street doing the miracles. He wasn't in the church collecting the offering. He was in the street doing these things and not looking for anything in return, but, you know, and then encouraging people to listen. It's not just about receiving, you know, your blessing, but you have to be proactive in it. he told the man at the bath, you know, are you waiting for somebody to put you in the water to receive your healing, or are you gonna get in? You're gonna get in. And you know, with you, of course, and now, in I guess in layman's terms or in today's terms, you know, when I see either homeless or I see a woman in need, you know, sister, I can give you this money, you know, for this one particular thing. However, I can show you how to make that money 10 times, 40 times over, 100 times over. I can show you how to build business credit and scale your business so that you can purchase whatever you want. I'm in the middle of it, of myself purchasing my first home, but not purchasing it for just me, but purchasing it in my business and using my business credit so that when my business purchase assets, I'm long and gone, them assets are still collecting interest, they're collecting profit, they're collecting income from my son and his posterity. So it's not just about me and what I can do, but how can I help you do that too?
Surely. And that's so powerful, because that's kind of going into our next question. But that's also what, like, my mission and my goal is with the women here. And, you know, for Women Enterprises, there's the community on Instagram, but the agency and consultancy side of it. So our members of We Group, which is the agency and consultancy side, that's what we focus on. We focus on what can I do that helps you, or where are you lacking that I can better you, and vice versa. And I think it's so important that we stop and we really say, like, just because she does this and I don't do this, that means we don't mesh. In fact, it's an opportunity to mesh. And I think that we miss how many successful puzzle moments we can have with creating the bigger picture if only we would say, this is where I lack. Because I think that's where the issue comes in. Everybody knows what they're good at, but they're not able to vocalize what they lack in, right? So when I start lacking and saying, Jay, I really need help with giving to the homeless, or Jay is telling me, you know, I really need help in this area, or, you know, whatever the case is, now we know where to feed each other. If everyone's posing to be fed and we're silently hungry, no one's getting fed.
Because a closed mouth don't get fed. Like,
Right.
you're gonna eat or you're gonna starve.
Right.
And I say that all the time. And it's like, I'm sure that you guys can attest, but for me, like, as an entrepreneur, I'm very new at being an entrepreneur. I mean, especially going from being a social worker to then joining the other end of that and being a founder of a nonprofit. Like, I wake up daily, like, with spurts of anxiety, because it's like, girl, what did you decide to do? Like, who do you think you are with a 501c3? I have zero idea what I'm doing every day, but I know that I'm making change, and I know that I am effective, you know, like, my impact speaks for itself. But just that anxiety of just really not know, like, just taking that leap of faith or whatever resonates with you is kind of it's very consuming, you know, emotionally and mentally. And so sometimes it becomes hard to really say what you don't know. Like, you know, it's like, I could say, girl, I don't know, you know, like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but someone else is looking at me like, girl, what do you mean? You've been doing this for 3 years, and you host events, and you build, you know, you do all these things. But for me, I feel like I'm not doing enough. Like, so I think maybe we just put so much more on ourselves.
Yeah.
Or because I feel like, listen, everything you guys, I'm about to talk to y'all after offline, because y'all need to be my consultant or mentor or something, because it's hard, you know. And so I feel like you said, like, sometimes we become a great mesh together when it's something we don't do, because that means it's something that you can help me with and something that I can help you with, and whatever our expertise is, which I'm sure can resonate across all of our fields. So I'm happy that you mentioned that, because that's very difficult, being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I'm grateful for even collectives like this, because of the fact that a lot of times when you start a business, some people don't even if you do ask for the help, they don't want to help you because it's like they just want to be the only ones that are able to succeed. And that's super duper corny. But, but I remember when I first started, I just started. But when I first started, I needed a website built. And I'm just starting a business out of necessity, of not because I want to start a business, because I need a job. We all got fired because of COVID. So I needed a job. I don't have really any money. I'm taking the savings that I have left, putting it into a business, and I asked somebody to help me with a website. Oh, I can help you. It's going to cost you about $5,000. So this is like, really? You know what I mean? So I brought what I had, and he basically looked over what I had and told me that he couldn't help me. I had to, and that's why I keep going back to this money thing, because it's literally, everybody is really all about just the money and not necessarily helping the desperate situation or the dire need that's right in front of you. So a lot of times people can be a little intimidated even about asking for the help. I know that I learned that, okay, if I got to do this website, I'm just going to have to learn how to do it. And that was one of the challenges in starting the business, is the fact that I had to learn how to do things that I've never done before. Deal with taxes, deal with documents. I don't do stuff like that, like I'm a very hands-on type of person, like with just doing tasks, not writing things, signing things, typing things up,
official
stuff like that. But it's just like, that's one of the things that you can really wow yourself by, just pushing the envelope, just trying something new, and you really see what your capabilities are when you do venture out to do things like that.
Yeah, that's a great point, because it's super hard. Like, and it's so frustrating, especially when you know that you're not someone that take advantage of people that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it makes you feel like I'm someone at this point who I figured out doing everything, like you said, like by myself, like building a website, figuring out how to do a flyer, doing graphics, creating my own logos and all the things, because everyone out here is trying to have a job. Everyone out here is trying to get paid. So they're trying to turn their little local business, and not little, their local business, into a way to get your money, and it's like, I don't even have no money. All I got is $2. You just want my $2, so it's like,
even make a logo for free.
Yes. And so, like, when I have friends that's like starting their business and doing stuff like that, I just tell them straight up, listen, download Canva. It's free. Go to canva.com, go on youtube.com. And these are the things, these are free things, because I feel like I wish I had people to tell me, girl, just do this or do that. Some people just like to harbor information so that you can just pay for it. So it's just like, I just try to encourage, especially us as entrepreneurs, like, we have to do the work to do the research, because it does make it worth it. It makes it, once you do it, nobody can tell you nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course we're going to pass that task on, because who want to do taxes? Nobody. Right. We're going to just hire somebody to do that. But
also, people try and harbor that information because they want to be the only one to have the business. Like, right. Everybody has a business, like regardless of what it is, but it's just like, I do something totally different from you, Ma. We're not in competition with one another,
Right. That's so true. There's abundance for everyone. And that's the thing with, me and the direct sales business too. There's many consultants, and, I always get the question, get the compliments, your stuff looks different than, I'm like, yes, because there's room for us all. And to be honest with you, there's no traffic in my lane. I'm the only competition I have is my yesterday self. That's it. That's the only competition. And not to be cocky, not to be, arrogant about it, but what I want for myself, I want for others. Right. So when someone compliments me on an outfit, and they ask, where'd you get this? I'm letting you know where I got it, how much I paid, the coupon code, because that's the type of person I am. Like, I'm letting you know, because this is what you can do. Because like Jay said, sometimes when you were starting out, like, people want to sell the information because it's all about the bottom line. But most women fail to realize, and I hate to say it, some Black women, because us. We could be very, competitive women sometimes. Some of us, I won't say all of us, some of us. But what we fail to realize is if we want to increase our income, we have to increase our service. Increase our service and the income will come. If we take our focus off of the love of money and put it back on how can I help someone, then I'm telling you that money is going to be an endless source. It's going to be a tree planted by the river. Yep. Endless source, because that's exactly how I was able to birth another business from my jewelry business. People wanted to know, how are you doing this? How are you doing that? How are you? And I'm like, there's only so many hours in the day. So my coach, Miczjhane Miller, and he's a spiritual son of Les Brown. He helped me and helped me cultivate, my breast cancer advocacy, my consulting business, and he guided me into a new arena, a new field as a consultant and as a business coach, showing others, and not just my business partners, but showing others how to do the same. And I'm forever grateful. And I'm telling you that business has been lucrative. So I took my focus on how many more commas can I put in my account, and change my focus on how many more people I can help and be a blessing to. And now the money is following. $5,000 contracts, $10,000 contracts. It's a blessing. And I don't take any of it for granted.
For sure. And that kind of goes into my next question. I was going to ask you ladies, what kind of service can your customers expect? But before we answer that, I wanted to piggyback off of something one of you guys had said with helping and being in a place where we feel like there's not enough room for all of us. I feel like women and Black women have a stigma that we are all competitive or we don't want to share information. And to be honest, a lot of businesses are birthed from the lack of knowledge and the lack of information. And what I mean by that is when you are trying to figure something out, or you're trying to learn something and you're asking for those resources or you're asking for guidance, there's no other way to get it done but to do it for yourself. One of the main things that I learned, I started my first business when I was 15, so it'll be 10 years next year. And one of the main things that I learned is that I'm not only a designer, I'm a stylist, I'm a photographer in my own right. I'm a graphic designer. I'm a marketer. Like, you have to take on all these roles and do them in a graceful way, because until you get to the level, or not the level like it's hierarchy, but like when you get to the level of, or when you have enough resources to create a team and have enough resources to build a team in a community where you say, hey, this person does this person does this, you're doing it by yourself. Like, this is the first time, and it's been like a month or two successfully since I've launched Women Enterprises, but this is the first time that I've had like a team. You know what I mean? And like I said, like, I've been doing this for 10 years. Like, I wasn't 16, 18, nor 21 with the full team behind me. But I think the more that I said, well, let me do this part, let me do this, I start meeting graphic designers, I start meeting marketers, I start meeting all these different people, I start meeting writers, I start meeting all these administrators, you know what I'm saying? As you become and take on these different roles, you learn people in those areas. So when it's time for you to relinquish that role, it's a little easier, because it's like, oh, she taught me how to do this. Let me see if she can come back and help me now that I helped her, or whatever it is. Like, I think it's a consistency of pouring. So Jay pours into me, I pour into K-Style, and she pours into KYC Wax. You know what I'm saying? So it has to be the perpetual line of growth. And, I think once we get in our mind that there's enough space for everybody, then we'll really be all gleaming and glowing together, because we're no longer staggered, but we're in a line. So imagine trying to fight someone who's right here and we're all like this. They're getting through us. They're knocking us down. But if we're like this and we're solid and we running up on them like nobody's stopping us. So I think that's the disconnect. And my senior year of college, I dealt with this firsthand. Like, I asked someone who I thought was a friend of mine for information because she has a brand, and I won't name any names, of course, but she has a brand, and I wanted to know, like, what does it take? What do I have to do? And I was so eager to learn, and she just wasn't willing. And it doesn't make her a bad person, because that's her way of doing things. But in my heart and in my mind, I always come with the initiative to give back and to help other people. It's no reason anybody that knows me or is connected to me has to struggle if I have the information. It's like a parent. Like, of course, like, the people that I work alongside aren't my kids, but when you go through things as a parent, I don't have kids, but this is just what my parents be telling me. So, like, when you go through things as a parent, like, you don't want your kids to have to deal with that, you know? So it's like, that's how I feel about my brands, like, about my businesses. I worked hard so that other people who are doing the same thing don't ever have to deal with that. And that kind of goes into the next question. So what kind of service can your customers expect? Like, what is a day in the life of you as a business owner versus a client or a consultation or whatever have you?
I guess clients, for my goal with my business, with my services at least, was to offer quality, to offer affordability, and to offer a prompt service. And those are the main things that Brazilian wax is probably 95% of my business. And a Brazilian wax is not a comfortable service. And I try to provide a comfortable environment, a clean environment, a prompt environment, a seamless way of checking in, a seamless way of checking out, a minimal discomfort, because it's not going to be totally uncomfortable. You know, we're in here, we talk, we laugh, we joke, I try and distract you, but I also try and educate you about, you know, post-care and what you should do when you go home and how often you should come back. And, you know, we shoot the breeze in and out. If it's a Brazilian, in and out 10 minutes tops. You know, I try and keep it that way, and to retain the client, rather than, I keep going back to this money thing, but rather than having so many different stipulations for your service. If you're 25 minutes late, or if you're 10 minutes late, I'm going to charge you $25, or, you know, things like that. I see that in comparison to other businesses where they have so much fine print that they lose sight of what the actual goal is with your client. So those things with the client, and I have gotten really good feedback about that, because that was like my main goal, is to get clients to be able to book very easily, to find me very easily, to find the service to be easy, to find me to be, you know, a pretty easygoing and easy spirited person, and for it to be very, very easy to come back.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And similarly to Katrina, same here. My customers, to be honest with you, I treat everyone how I wish to be treated. All of us are consumers of something, right? All of us. We either shopping brands, we're shopping with small business owners, we're either eating out, we're dining. We are all consumers. And when clients and customers come to me, I want to give them top-notch quality service. Yes, I sell fabulous, affordable accessories for frugal fashionistas. I like to have you looking like $1 million without breaking the bank. However, I also want to be known for my outstanding customer service, because I want you to know that I care about how you feel. I care about how much you love this piece of jewelry. I can remember one of my business partners sharing with me, you know, she started the business because she used to sneak to play in her mother's jewelry box because she loved the way it feels. And now she's starting the business to give others that same feeling that she had as a child. And I thought that was so wonderful, how she can now be a blessing builder for someone else, and how she can contribute that to our team. And similarly, I feel the same way. I want to be able And I believe, Michonne, you had mentioned it before, how greater transformation, it doesn't happen in horizontal rows. It doesn't happen like it happens for me. Illustrious New Life Circle, the whole team name of my business partners and team, is that our greater transformation happens in circles. We have greater impact when we are a unit and we're moving together. So I cascade that down to my mission statement for my business as well. I want you to feel like this. I'm your big sister. I'm your little sister. I'm your niece. I'm the plug. I'm the plug you go to when you need something convenient. You have an event. You have an engagement. You don't want to break the bank to look good, and you want to feel good supporting your local Black business owner as well, supporting my business. So that's, for me, providing outstanding customer service, whether it's in person or whether it's through my online store. I believe punctuality is so key, so crucial. I know many of us, it's like, all right, I pay for that expedited shipping, but they say it's going to take 5 days to process before they finally ship it out. I don't want that extra 5 days. I pay for it today. It should be shipping tomorrow. Okay. So that's me. I'm like, when I get online orders, I make sure that, everything is available. I'm reaching out if anything should be out of stock. I want you to feel just as good as I feel sending it to you than you receiving it. So that's me and K-Style Collection.
Yes, I agree to all of that as well. For my profitable businesses, sea moss and waste beads and juices and all that natural stuff, I feel the same way. I feel like if I'm providing a service that's supposed to make you feel good, I feel good making it. I'm sharing something that I practice myself. And so I take very I have high standards in regards to how I make sure my clients receive things. Sometimes, I am very, very strict on myself. So it's like, I don't want my stuff going out any kind of way. Like my packaging got to be perfect because I want it to come in a certain way. I don't want it to be like, just because I'm new, oops, this is what it is. Like, yes, we do have those things that happen, but if I can avoid it, I would try to avoid it, just so that my client can be happy and satisfied when they get it, when it's of quality as if I was taking it myself. And then for my nonprofit end of things, we don't really provide a service. I mean, our service is to provide service to those who are unhoused, but that is just really through building community. So like our big thing is building together community. Like it's not just outreach for us, it's us building together community. So I do a lot of partnerships in the community and with businesses and with state agencies and stuff like that, other nonprofits, so that we can come together and bridge the gaps of the things that the city and the state need. And so we do that by connecting and building relationship. And then on the other end, volunteerism is what we need. So when we out in the community, we do need volunteers to come out and be supportive and be hands-on and be joyous and spreading love and spreading hope and, giving resources and help provide those resources to the community agencies as well. And so we provide a good time. Like we're out there like as if we having a Black party. Like we got the speakers going, we got food going, we got drinks going, we have them dancing, we're celebrating their sobrieties, we're celebrating their births and all those things, because they focus on the things they don't have daily. So, we encourage them to go get a shower, go get your hair cut, go grab, this over here. And we try to provide all the basic services that we take advantage of every single day. Some of these people, they're so excited to get a haircut because they're like, I don't remember the last time I got a haircut. I don't remember the last time I got a shower. We make these things happen for them on the street. We're not renting a center for it. We're not doing anything besides using the public space that they already use anyway to provide those services right where they are, because sometimes they're not accepted into the shelter. Sometimes they don't want to separate from their, 1 month boyfriend because, they're not married, so they can't stay together, or they don't want to separate from their pet because that's their best friend. There's so many things, so our goal is to build our services to serve them in the best way we can. You're bringing them joy in whatever that is for the short period of time that we gather with them.
Yes, I love that. And I love how organic it is. And it's like You don't need anything to house your service. You just do it. And you said it simply put. And I think I'm gonna take that back to my team. We can do that too. Because I really been wanting to do something. But I think so many times we get like stuck in the logistics of it gotta be here, it gotta look like this, it gotta do this. And the motive and the goal is always just to do it. So we talked a little bit about what we do and why we do it. We even got ahead of ourselves and talked about some of our challenges already. But this is the portion of the show where we say like keeping it real. So I want to know, like I said, we touched on a few of you guys' challenges briefly before, but I want to know, have you ladies ever been called the angry Black woman? And if you have, how did it make you feel? Like what was the situation? I want to know all about it.
I've never been called that to my face, but I'm pretty sure I've been called something worse than an angry Black woman.
Yes.
I've never dealt with a client in that nature, especially not here. I've been very fortunate not to have any irate customers. I have had irate customers at salons and spas that I've worked at before, but I don't handle money. And most often what they want in compensation is money. So it's very easy for me to just, move
Say,
on.
I don't handle money.
I don't have anything to do with that, this is on you, but I don't, I've been very fortunate to not have that to happen to me at all.
Yes. Anyone else?
Absolutely. I agree. I've never been called an angry Black woman by a client, maybe by an ex, but I've never been called an angry. I've never experienced, I never had a negative interaction with a customer. And that's the God's honest truth. Now, there have been issues before where it's like due to shipping. I know like around the holidays, a few years back, people weren't receiving their packages. However, I have tracking numbers and I'm like, it's stuck in Baltimore. It's out of my hands. I could comp you an item or I could, call the post office, but there's certain a level of extent that or a liability that I have. And from that incident really, and she was fine with it, because most of my customers are friends and family and friends of family members and friends. But she was very understanding. However, it actually enabled me to make a change. So I had to add some policies to my business, as far as shipping is concerned, as far as the liability is concerned, as far as return policy. So that did preemptively spark change in my business, because I'm thinking it's all good, right? It's all good until it's not. But all in all, I never had a negative customer. I actually received a lot of positive feedback, and a lot of people can't believe that the jewelry is only $5 or $1 or $25. It's like, yeah, that was my same reaction. So, I have a lot of repeat customers, loyal customers, and that's what I try to do. I try to keep it. And if should something arise, no matter what it is, I'm not that type of woman. I would actually walk away. I wouldn't stand there and argue. I would walk away. Like, I'm gonna leave you there and look crazy arguing by yourself. Me, I'm going over here. Okay. So, but should it ever come to that, I would definitely, with colleagues, of course, I would go to lunch and discuss whatever issue that may be, and then how can we come to a resolution where you're able to feel appreciated or acknowledged and not, toes stepped on or whatever the case may be. That's the type of person I am. Let's go to lunch. Let's talk about it, because I'm not here to, life is way too short for me to be harboring any type of feelings, for you to be doing the same. And, having, overcoming breast cancer really opened my eyes to the how precious life is. And I'm not here for the petty stuff or the small talk or the gossip or for anything like negative. I'm past that. I'm in a different plane. I'm in a different level of consciousness. And if you're not there, then that's fine. But if you are there, let's talk about it. Let's help one another.
I love that.
Yeah, same. I've never experienced being called that either. And so that's a blessing. I try to, like K Style said, I think maybe because we've been around so many businesses and stuff like that, maybe we just have taken the extra precautionary steps to kind of avoid those things right now in our businesses, because I'm the same way. Like I try to make sure that I have good quality in my packaging so that way I'm not getting it in, because it's a waste of my money, my time, my product, and then your money. And then, and so I also, have things in place so where it's like certain items has to be shipped priority. There's no other option outside of that, or it has to be shipped 3-day FedEx. There's no other option outside of that, just so it can protect the quality of the product that you say you want. So I think that just kind of like being that little half a step ahead, kind of like maybe have avoided the issues of being called a angry Black, woman or worse. Yeah.
So we pretty much are wrapping up. If anyone has any questions that are live, you guys can drop your questions in and they'll place them on the screen. But while they're doing that, I want you ladies to each give a word to your younger self. And then we'll see if anyone has any questions, and then I'll let you guys promote your businesses. But yeah, right now I just want to open the floor to you guys, for you guys to tell something to your younger self.
I was muted, but I said, "Oh wow!" I think
I read your lips.
Oh wow! I mean, I would tell my younger self, continue on, be persistent, stay committed, and keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your eyes on the goal. You don't see any obstacles. See your goal, because when you see your goal, your obstacles must make way. They must give way.
I love that.
Yeah, I would say I'm probably really close to that. I would tell my younger self to stay focused, keep going. Your hurdles is what you make them.
I would probably tell myself, my younger self, to take the limits off of my beliefs, to believe more, to have more faith, and don't worry about what other people, or don't worry about comparison, rather.
Mm-hmm.
So usually I say the same thing to my younger self, but this week something else came to my mind that I would tell my younger self. And the main thing that I would tell my younger self is that it's okay to be in a room with people that are better than you.
Mm-hmm.
And as I spoke on a little bit in this episode, and as I'm, with my team talking to them daily, it's not just like Miczjhane is the CEO and everyone else falls behind. We literally hold each other up daily. And I think that there's something super significant about having women who look like you and understand how you function alongside of you, even though they're different. And I talked about that briefly, but I would really tell my younger self to not be so worried about being the best in the room or the smartest in the room or the coolest in the room, but get in those rooms with the smartest, the best, and the coolest. And I think that it's coming from a place of, when you're a parent, like sometimes your parent, I don't know if you ladies have children. I know you said you have a son, but sometimes parents have expectations for us. We want them to be the best at this. We want them to be the best at this. And it's like, I feel like I would have grabbed a little more if I wasn't so worried about being the best than just being present.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I would have understood it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to not know. Because when you're trying to be the best, you're just trying to be the best. You got to look to put together. You got to know the answer to everything. You got to respond to everything. So I would tell my younger self to make room for someone to be better than you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So that's my word to my younger
That's
self.
good.
Thank you.
Powerful. That was
Thank
powerful.
you.
That was
Thank you
good.
so much. It kind of hit me because usually I have like the same answer. I'm like, keep going, don't stop. But like this week, that's really been on my heart. And it's like, I want to be in a room just learning, you know?
Yeah.
Always being a student is something that's always going to keep me eager to grow.
That's right.
So we have one question so far, and it says, "Have you ever felt like giving up at any point as an entrepreneur?" We have one question.
Every day.
Really?
Every single day. Sometimes I feel like I don't know what I've gotten myself into. I
Yes.
don't know how to get out of it. But then there's some days that that someone had mentioned prayer. Like I pray every single, even before I started this business, I remember being on the beach and I prayed to God, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I need a job. I was so desperate, and God literally told me, and I heard him, and I came back to New York because I was in Miami. I came back to New York and I just started my business, and everything just started falling into place. But there does come challenges where I did start feeling like I was in over my head and everything is falling on me. So I'm responsible for the doors being open. If I don't pay the bills, all of these appointments, you know what I mean? I have to tell them something, you know what I mean? And I don't want to look unreliable. So yes, I feel like giving up all the time, but I know 100% that I cannot, because I literally begged God for a purpose, and for direction, because I got sick of working with these people that didn't care anything about me or care anything about these people that were giving them the money.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's so
Does
true.
anyone
I
else?
mean, you can't, yes, you can't help to have on certain days where you want to tap out. You just be like, I need to take a day. I don't want to answer no phones. I don't want to answer no questions. I even tell my son sometimes, Kello, his name is Kello. I'm like, mommy doesn't want to think right now.
Right.
I don't
Yes.
want to think right now. I just want to be.
Yes.
But then when I think about it, in those moments where I feel like, one, am I doing enough? Sometimes it feels like you're doing so much for others, you forget to recharge yourself. Am I doing enough for others? But also, am I doing enough for me?
Yes.
And then it always reverts back to my why. Why am I an entrepreneur? Why am I a business owner? And then once I have that understanding of why I'm doing it, that it's not just for me, but it's for the generations to come, that gives me my motivation to go harder. It gives me motivation to wake up. This is something that I speak to my team about regularly, because I'm like, there's no reason why all of us can't be 6-figure, 7-figure owners. Yes. The difference between Bill Gates and the Elon Musk is that they decided to do something with the opportunity, whereas we're just looking for chances. We were taught to look for a job. We were taught to go to school, indebt yourself, come out and look for a startup job or an intern job. Right now, my son is on the road to be a 6-figure earner by the time he's 18, and he'll be 18 in 7 years. Yeah. I'm starting him off with, you can pick whatever school you want to go to. You don't have to worry about student loans. You don't have to worry about we're about to incorporate his business. He already owns stock. The games that he be playing, Roblox and all of this, you better believe he playing them, but he also owns stock. He owned part of the company. So I'm like, this is why I need to go harder. This is why I wake up. So on the days where, especially with women, sometimes we get, Aunt Flo come. We just want to lay in bed all day for the week or whatever. But I'm like, no, it doesn't stop here, because there's going to be good days. There's going to be bad days. But we got to know that even when there's clouds in the sky, the sun is still shining above. Yes. The sun is still shining above. And as long as God grants me life in my body and activity of my limbs, I'm going to be doing all my works to glorify his name, to help someone else, and as well as to position my family for a brighter future.
Yes, I love that. I love that. We had another question, but Jay, you can go ahead.
Listen, these ladies have wrapped up this whole thing. Yes to all of it.
You could probably start with the next question.
Yes. Okay. So what's the best way to connect with someone, maybe an entrepreneur or potential client, without being annoying or overbearing? Okay. So I would love to answer this question. So, so as on a nonprofit and as a founder, a lot of like everything is about building connection when you have a nonprofit, because you're trying to look for grants, you're trying to look for funders, you're trying to look for sponsors, you're trying to look for volunteers, you're trying to get people to connect with you, and raising awareness is about that. And so the difference between being annoying and overbearing, I think it's about your approach, and it's also about the simple things. The simple things are like introducing yourself, not like, hi, I want to blah, 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 blah. Like sometimes we forget to mention our names. We forget to mention what our purpose is in trying to reach out. We forget to maybe insert a link to maybe your website or to what you do. So I think that it's really about your purpose. You have to kind of really sit back and keep it short. Like it's very important to keep whatever you're trying, your ask needs to be a short ask, and it needs to be simple enough for people to understand it. So it's not like, hey, do you do consultation? Apparently I do consultation because you found me, you know what I'm saying? So the issue, you have to know how to get in there, especially when people are busy or whatever, to say, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I know that you do consultation and I'm looking for this particular service. Like you have to know what your ask is, what your purpose is, and then don't forget to introduce yourself and leave a way for people to kind of know how to help you. And then following up is very important. I like to call it spamming, but I don't really spam. I mean, I'm just really good at follow-up, and my follow-ups are usually very friendly, and it's not, so I think it's about your approach. If I was to give an answer.
Yeah. I was also going to say, I think it's about your why. Like your why comes out when you're promoting your business. Like if you're messaging them like, yeah, you can do this for the small price of $49.99. It's like, okay, wait, are you trying to help me, or are you trying to sell, like take my money? Because it's giving you trying to take my $49.
Yeah, it's giving advertisement vibes.
Yeah. So I think your why comes out when you're like promoting. Like I think what I'm bringing to the table could really help you, or it's like, so you won't pay the $50 or not, like.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so true. It's like it's the cliche, what do they say? Facts tell and stories sell. Nobody wants to be sold to. Nobody doesn't want to be sold to. And this is what I share with my team all the time. You want people to join you. We have to remove that join me. How about partner with me? Let me help you. Let me show you this. And just like Jay had mentioned too, the power in the follow-up, that is so crucial. It's so crucial. And I really pride myself on providing value. If I know someone, say a potential or a prospective customer or business partner, if I know what I'm doing my homework, I'm looking at their Facebook, I'm seeing what's going on in their life so I can connect with them on a personal level. The first conversation that I have with them, I say nothing about the business. Nothing. It's personal. I want you to warm up to me, because this is how it's going to be. This is going to be our professional relationship, whether it's client end or business partner. Because I care about the individual. I help people first, and then I help people build their business. Yeah. So if I can help you become a better you, then you're going to build your business on a firmer foundation, and then you're going to help somebody else build their business as well. So Jay said, it's really following up with genuineness, with kindness, with, just real personal about caring, and that's so crucial. That's really crucial in providing value, of course, providing value over selling any day.
Mm-hmm.
Surely. Did you want to add anything, Katrina?
I think everybody has said everything.
Well, I wanted to let you guys know, and I've never said this, I don't think, on any episode, but not only am I excited that you guys were a part, but I'm leaving feeling super inspired. Like, I want to go and get a wax bed and give somebody a wax and talk to them about their life, because I've been trying to sit on the table like, God, why do I come back? Why do I come back? I'm ready to go downstairs and give the people on our block some food to up my customer service. Like, y'all are just super dope. I really appreciate y'all sitting in and talking with me, and everyone else who's on the live. I'm sure they appreciate you too and has some super good nuggets. So starting with the J, if you could just plug yourself, let us know where we can find you, follow you, all that stuff.
Yeah, so Jay White, you can follow you can follow me on all social media platforms for Project Love Strong, which is the nonprofit that gives back to the unhoused, aka the homeless. That's Project Love Strong, so project_love_strong, and our website is projectlovestrong.org. And if you want to email me to connect, it's projectlovestrong@yahoo.com. If you're interested in connecting with me with waist beads or CMOS and all the CMOS gummies, then you can follow my personal page, which is at Shiqua, which is SHIQUA. And I can connect you to all three businesses.
Dope. Thank you so much, Jay, for joining. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, now we could go with Katrina.
Yes, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at KYC Wax. My website is www.kycwax.com. Very easy, KYC Wax. You can find me on Google. All of that. I am offering Wax Me Wednesdays for the rest of the month. 10% off of Brazilians. And you can check my social media and you can check my website monthly. I update the promotions every single month, and we get good deals. So, I hope to see you guys soon. Connect with me.
Thank you so much. And you can go ahead.
I'm looking on my computer about to see what next Wednesday is. I could be free, because she said, I remember you saying your waxes are about 10 minutes. I'm like, 10 minutes.
In and out.
10 minutes. Yes, but you can find me, K-Style Collection, on all major platforms. Facebook, K-Style Collection. On Instagram, K_Style Collection. You can also visit my website, shop 24/7 at getKstyle.com, www.getKstyle.com. And I just definitely want to appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me here on the platform. It was a pleasure meeting you all and listening to your journeys and share. I'm super inspired as well, and I definitely look forward to connecting with you guys offline.
For sure. Thank you, ladies.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I appreciate you guys. Nice meeting you all.
Thank you. Have a great evening, everyone.
All right. So as you guys know, it is the wrap up portion. Y'all can follow us at Woman Enterprises on Instagram. You can head over to our website. You can join We Group on our website as well. And next week is the last episode for this season. Super excited. It went by super fast. It's been 4 episodes already. So next week we'll have a special treat at the end of the episode concluding season 1. I look forward to season 2. We'll be releasing the date when we'll do season 2 on next week's episode. And I think season 2 is going to be a little different. So I hope y'all ready. Thank y'all for tuning in.